In a land called Hi Seiang, a woman named Hi Seiang lived among the Ihins, a sacred people through whom the voice of God continued to speak. Hi Seiang was blessed with 7 sons and 7 daughters, all of whom could hear God's voice and see the light. Under divine inspiration, the 14 siblings separated, each journeying in different directions to spread the Creator's guidance. Among their descendants were tribes such as the Ha-Fung and the Fo-Sim. The Ha-Fung settled in the north, establishing fellowship with the Fo-Sim, a group of humans who followed Zarathustrian teachings under the name Sa-Sin. These tribes were led by Rabbas or priests who upheld God's commandments. From this lineage arose the Han tribe, who also possessed the light and the voice. For a time, the northern regions of China thrived in peace, guided by faith and harmony. However, as generations passed, the Han tribe drifted from God's commandments. A powerful chieftain named Lahan emerged, rejecting the Creator's law and reviving Assyrian doctrines that prioritized human intellect and corporeal knowledge over spiritual truth. Lahan seized power, proclaiming himself Han, king of the sun, and established the first Han dynasty, which spread across all of China. Han's decrees reflected his philosophy. Worship should be through righteous actions, not through prayer or words. Prayer was seen as an admission of weakness, and rituals directed toward God were declared foolish. Ancestral rites were allowed as they might please the spirits of the dead, but all other forms of spiritual practice were outlawed. Han viewed himself as the Sun King, the center of a unified kingdom, and enforced his doctrines with harsh authority. He persecuted the people of faith, targeting Zarathustrians for their practices and beliefs. Han decreed that refusal to eat meat or the holding of animals as sacred would result in death. Those who cherished the sanctity of all life, including cows, horses, dogs, and other creatures, were punished severely. The once protected worshippers of the Creator, who adhered to Zarathustrian law, became outlaws. Their communities were destroyed, their members tortured, and their faith suppressed. Despite their resilience, the people of faith suffered immense persecution during Han's reign, marking a dark chapter in their history. The lineage of Zawing produced 7 generations of prophets, each preserving and advancing the Zarathustrian faith. The 7th and final prophet in this line was Po, a unique individual born as an iesu, or Neuter, neither male nor female. Po's unusual birth and spiritual nature marked him as a chosen servant of the Creator. From a young age, Po heard the voice of the Great Spirit, who instructed him, "Remain steadfast in the doctrines of your ancestors, and you will gather the scattered people of faith and restore them to this land." During this era, many Zarathustrians chose celibacy as an act of devotion. However, Han's government viewed this as a threat to the population's growth, issuing a decree that all men must marry and all women must bear children under penalty of death. Despite these restrictions, Po married at the age of 20, obeying the law while continuing his divine mission. He and his wife settled in Hengadi, meaning brother land, where he worked in the humble trade of processing flax and hemp. One day, Po sought out Hi Seiang, the philosopher and governor of Hengadi's southern province. Hi Seiang was a learned man, revered for his knowledge and mastery of thousands of texts. Po approached him with questions about the nature of self and divinity, initiating a profound dialogue. Po asked whether the questioning self or the answering self within a person was superior. Hi Seiang asserted that the questioning self must be superior as it drives inquiry. Po argued that the questioning self is connected to the Creator, as it is the same part of the being that hears and sees divine beings. Hi Seiang dismissed these ideas as remnants of superstition, insisting that life is merely the result of interactions between matter and energy without any higher spiritual reality. He praised Han's rejection of ancient doctrines, calling it a step toward enlightenment. While they debated, God manifested nearby as a burning bush. The fire blazed brightly, yet the bush remained unconsumed. From the flame a voice declared, "Who then say you I am? For verily I am." Both Po and Hi Seiang saw the miraculous light and heard the voice, but Hai remained skeptical. He accused Po of casting a magical spell, dismissing the event as trickery. Despite witnessing the miracle, Hi Seiang's heart was hardened. He proclaimed his mastery of knowledge and ridiculed Po for believing in what he deemed outdated superstitions. In response, Po defended himself, asking why Hai accused him of deceit when the manifestation was clearly beyond human power. God reassured Po, commanding him to continue his mission undeterred. Po was tasked with uniting the scattered people of faith and restoring the Creator's teachings in a land hostile to divine truths. God's voice affirmed that Po must labor tirelessly, even in the face of disbelief and persecution. Hi Seiang summoned Asin to investigate Po's divine nature. As the three conversed, God inscribed the word Te-in into the sand with a fiery brilliance. Po declared, "From this time forth, Te-in shall be the name of those faithful to the Creator alone." Asin questioned how to discern writings from the Creator versus those of spirits of the dead. Po replied, "Light comes in light, darkness comes in darkness." When asked if he could see angels and gods, Po explained, "I see angels, for they are like us. The gods, however, are as flames of fire." As they spoke, a triangular light descended on Po's head with the word Te-in inscribed on its sides. Under divine influence, Po proclaimed, "I am Te-in, Father over all the living. Po is my son, chosen to deliver my people from the bondage of Han and his sub-kingdoms. My people suffer torture and persecution. Join me, and I will deliver your lands as well." Hi Seiang and Asin, both eager to break free from Han's rule, embraced Po's teachings. They convened scholars to learn divine wisdom directly from Po, who spoke God's words, Veduo. Rather than relying on books, they memorized the teachings through repetition. Po warned that kings would seek to destroy God's doctrines, so these sacred laws must not be written or engraved. Instead, they were taught orally and included the following commandments. Marriage and family, marry thoughtfully, considering the spirit of your spouse. Multiply and beautify the earth. Celibacy is discouraged. Nourishment, feed children according to their nature. Meat for warriors, herbs for patience and strength. Leadership and service. The wise and rich must uplift the poor and ignorant. Each person must use their unique gifts for the city's benefit. Non-violence, do not kill anything that breathes. Cherish all life. Reverence and unity, respect all opinions, honor sacred days, and regard all people equally in the temple. Seek the Creator in everything and excuse others' faults. Righteous living, speak little of yourself, live harmoniously and obey God's prophet and the city's father, Rabbah. Through these laws, Po established a moral and spiritual framework to guide the faithful, calling them to live in harmony with the Creator and each other. To re-establish Zarathustrian law, Po emphasized decentralization. He declared that no city should exceed 2,000 inhabitants, except for celibate communities, which could be as small as 8 people with one Rabbah, priest, overseeing them. Each city would function autonomously, with the priest as both spiritual and administrative leader. He bore full responsibility for the sins and virtues of his people, accountable for their spiritual state in both this life and the afterlife. Po specified that where industries like metalworking required large populations, multiple cities should be established at least 5 city breadths apart. No more than 4 such cities could exist in proximity. These measures ensured that spiritual and moral principles governed every community, preventing corruption from centralized power. Po abolished servitude, proclaiming, "You shall neither hire nor be hired, neither shall you have masters nor servants. All shall be alike, servants only to the Creator." This decree encouraged equality and self-reliance, fostering unity among the people of faith. Education was central to Po's vision. He taught that learning was a gymnasium for the spirit and strength for the soul. Sons and daughters were to be taught all trades and arts, progressing from practical skills to higher pursuits like music, sculpture, and philosophy. Recreation, dancing, games, and ceremonies was equally important, nurturing joyous hearts as expressions of gratitude to the Creator. To ensure continuity of righteous governance, every priest and governor was required to appoint a successor, chosen through divine guidance. This system prevented stagnation and ensured that leadership aligned with the Creator's will. The revolt against Han Hi Seiang, Asin, and Segao, inspired by Po's teachings, united to overthrow Han's oppressive rule. They announced their defiance, sparking Han's wrath. His armies laid waste to vast territories, forcing Po and his followers to retreat southward. Along their journey, Po gathered the faithful from scattered tribes, particularly the people of faith from Hi'ar. Han, emboldened by his early victories, overstretched his forces. His armies, divided and dispersed, became vulnerable to attack. In a dramatic turn, barbarian forces ambushed Han's troops, annihilating them. Han himself fell at the hands of a barbarian woman, a symbolic end to his tyrannical reign. With Han's death, Po and his followers reclaimed key regions, including Fel, Hengadi, and Selo. Po reinstated Asin and Hi Seiang as governors, paving the way for a new era of faith and righteousness, the Council of 13 Kingdoms. Hi Seiang convened a grand council of leaders from 13 kingdoms. After 70 days of deliberation, he was crowned King of the Sun, uniting the land under a single banner of faith and justice. He codified Po's teachings into law, renaming the creator as Te-In, meaning God. Idol worship was abolished, and the persecution of the faithful came to an end. Under Hi Seiang's rule, China underwent a profound transformation. Po continued to travel throughout the land, performing miracles and teaching divine commandments. His presence inspired awe, and wherever he went, the faithful multiplied. The teachings of Po's teachings, rooted in the Creator's commandments, reshaped Chinese society. Decentralized community city remained small to maintain spiritual and moral. Equality and service, wealth and knowledge were shared for the benefit of all, with no hierarchy except in spiritual matters, education and recreation. A balanced life of labor, learning and joy was emphasized. Non-violence. The sanctity of all life was upheld, rejecting killing for food or power, faith in the Creator. Worship shifted from idols and rituals to reverence for the Creator's works and adherence to His commandments. Through Po's leadership, the people abandoned their reliance on idols, gods and saviors. They turned instead to the Creator, honoring His laws and rejoicing in His creation. A new era of faith. The success of Po's mission marked the rebirth of the Zarathustrian faith. The scattered tribes of the faithful were reunited, and China transformed into a land of righteousness. The Creator's light shone brightly over the people, who now lived in harmony with His laws. Po's influence extended far and wide, solidifying the foundations of faith and justice that would guide generations to come. The triumph over Han was not merely a political victory, but a spiritual awakening, ushering in an age of peace and devotion.